Only one chair turned, one, and the internet absolutely lost its mind over it, because when you watch this performance back, you start asking yourself a very real question. Were the other coaches asleep, or is this one of those moments where the internet hype is outrunning the actual talent? That debate is exactly what we're diving into today, and trust me, it gets heated. So let's talk about who Kendra Remedios is, and why this performance has people still arguing days later. Kendra stepped onto the voice stage during the blind auditions, the round where coaches literally cannot see you. It's pure voice, pure instinct. She performed Little Big Town's Girl Crush, a song that's already a loaded choice. It's vocally demanding, emotionally layered, and it's been done to death in competition settings. Choosing it is either bold or risky depending on how you execute it. And of all four coaches, only John Legend pressed his button. Kelly Clarkson didn't turn. Adam didn't turn, and people online have been debating that outcome ever since. Now, before we get into the reaction, let's actually break down what happened in that performance, because I think a lot of people are reacting emotionally without being specific about what was actually working and what wasn't. First, her voice. Kendra has a natural rasp and grit that you genuinely cannot manufacture. That texture is rare, especially in a field full of technically clean country voices that all start blending together by week 2. She has a distinct sonic identity, which in a competition like The Voice is arguably more valuable than raw technical precision at this stage. She kept the core melody grounded while using her range to add dimension, moving from low, earthy tones up into her upper register without it feeling forced. And if you want to subscribe to the Public Reaction channel for more breakdowns like this one, now is a great time. Hit that button, it genuinely helps. The emotional delivery was present. She wasn't just singing the notes, she was leaning into the mood of the song, which is melancholy, longing, slightly dark. That matched her voice well. Girl Crush isn't a showstopper anthem, it's a slow burn, and she understood that. Stage presence, composed, no visible nerves collapsing her performance. But here's where things get slightly more complicated. There were moments, particularly in the more ambitious sections where she pushed her arrangement, that felt unsteady, a few pitchy stretches that broke the spell briefly. Nothing catastrophic, but noticeable. And in a blind audition, those micro moments matter because coaches are listening with surgical precision, which brings us right back to the central question: should more chairs have turned? Let's get into what the public had to say, because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The overwhelming majority came in swinging with pure admiration. A massive wave of viewers were shocked, genuinely bewildered, that only one coach turned. Multiple people echoed the same sentiment. That raspy, textured quality in her voice is what separated her. Phrases like dark horse, she can sing everything, and she made the song her own showed up repeatedly. One viewer specifically called out that she doesn't sound like just a country singer, that she crosses into rock and pop territory in a way that makes her harder to box in. And that's actually a sharp observation. The Voice has had country artists get pigeonholed before, and Kendra's blend of genres could be a genuine competitive advantage. Several people pointed directly at John Legend and said he made a smart move, that he saw something the other coaches missed or strategically passed on. And there's real substance to that. John has historically gravitated toward artists with soulful, distinctive tones rather than technically pristine but emotionally neutral voices. Then there was a strong undercurrent of viewers calling Kelly Clarkson's non-turn strategic rather than a genuine miss, pointing out that Kelly's team was nearly full, which limits her flexibility. That context matters, and honestly, it reframes the how did they not turn outrage a little bit, because sometimes a coach not turning isn't an artistic judgment, it's roster management. Now, not everyone was convinced, and this is where the conversation gets more interesting, because blind admiration doesn't help anyone grow. A portion of viewers flagged the pitchy moments directly. One comment specifically mentioned shaky stretches alongside the strong ones, calling it inconsistently brilliant rather than consistently great. Another viewer said they liked the voice, but took issue with the song selection and the liberties she took with the arrangement, saying the ambition was there, but something felt off. That's a legitimate critique. Covering a well-known song on national television means every deviation from the original gets scrutinized. If the reimagining doesn't land cleanly, it can feel like a stumble even if the core vocal is strong. And then there were the outright harsh takes. A couple of comments went so far as to call the performance painful or suggest she wasn't competition ready. Now, those reactions feel extreme when you stack them against the overall quality of the audition, but they exist, and they actually tell us something worth noting. Kendra doesn't yet have have universal appeal, she's a taste. Some people will connect deeply with that grit and rasp. Others will hear roughness and instability, where her fans hear character and soul. That division is actually the most telling thing about where she is as an artist right now. There was also a fun subset of reactions that had nothing to do with the singing at all. Multiple people weighed in on her hair, some genuinely admiring it, one person going deep into theories about whether it was natural, which, yes, that happened. The internet is the internet, but buried in those lighter reactions was a viewer comment that actually stuck with me, that Kendra has a beautiful story alongside the voice. We don't get that detail fully in the clip, but it's worth noting that on The Voice, narrative and voice together are what build a fan base. One without the other rarely goes all the way. So here's my final read on this. Kendra Remedios has the raw material for a deep run in this competition. The tone, the genre-crossing versatility, the stage composure. Those aren't things you teach in a few weeks of coaching. John Legend picking her up is not a consolation prize. It's a genuine opportunity, but the path forward requires closing the gap between her best moments and her inconsistent ones. Because in the live rounds, there's no room for shaky stretches in the middle of a vocal that's otherwise turning heads. Was this a 3-chair turn performance? Honestly, probably not on this particular day. The potential is 3-chair turn level. The execution on this audition had enough uneven moments to give cautious coaches a reason to wait, but 1-chair turns have gone on to win this show before, and Kendra has the kind of voice that gets more dangerous with every round. The real question I want to leave you with is this. Do you think John Legend can coach Kendra to actually win, or does her raw, unpolished edge hurt her more as the competition gets tighter? And was Kelly's decision to stay in her seat smart strategy, or did she genuinely miss on a future finalist? Drop your take below. Let's actually debate this one.